Good morning. Hello. Welcome to This Day Devo. Pastor Guy here. It is good to have you here with me as we are working through the book of Acts and working through the New Testament. Having a lot of fun. Today, we read Acts chapter 9, verse 20 through chapter 10, verse 8. Now, I am not going to get into Peter and Cornelius, but what's interesting to note is that Peter is off working while we're getting the highlights of Saul, who would become Paul. We'll see that later. But what's neat about this is we see an incredible transformation in the life of Saul. I mean, literally miraculous, okay? Right? This is his miraculous coming to Christ experience. And it is an extreme pendulum shift. Oftentimes, those who are zealous and impassioned and some of the most impactful and influential men and women for evil, when they come to Christ, even though they're leaving all of that sin, all of that hate, all of that anger behind, all of those fruits of hell behind, and replacing them with the fruit of the Spirit, with the love, the joy, the peace, the kindness, they're maintaining the zealousness and become the most impassioned, on fire, soul-converting, feet on the ground Christians. And so when you see a passionate non-believer, don't see that person as unreachable. See that person as, oh man, how much incredible work could they do for the kingdom of heaven if God changed their heart and they were on our side? If they were fighting for heaven, if God claimed that personality for his glory, for his kingdom, how amazing. And we see that in this, what God's intentions are with Saul. And so there's this span of really a very short period of days. He's on his way to Damascus, and he is desiring he's dragging men and women of the faith out of their houses. He wants to kill them. He wants to take them back to Jerusalem in chains and turn them into the government. And then he meets Jesus on the Damascus road, and he's blinded. And we read about Ananias coming and then praying for him, and the scales fall from his eyes. So he was blind for 3 days, and then it says there in verse 19 that he spent a few more days with the believers in Damascus. And then he immediately began to preach Jesus in the synagogues, that he is indeed the Son of God. So this man went from, in a matter of, 5, 6, 7 days, to wanting to kill Christians and completely eradicate the way, to preaching that Jesus is the Son of God and defending in astonishing ways that Jesus is the Messiah. It's an amazing turn of events. So where the people the people that he was with, that he was hunting Christians with, now they want to kill him, and he has to be snuck out of Damascus and taken to Tarsus, to his hometown. And so he's being rescued because God had a plan for his life. His plan was not to die a martyr's death yet. He had some work to do. And so the Lord safely delivered him from Damascus, and he began where he could preach boldly the name of the Lord, debating some people, and they were just so amazed at what he could do. But they took him. So you could say they took him to Caesarea, to his hometown of Tarsus, and so you think a man is with the personality and the aggressiveness and the boldness of a man like Saul. He needed to be. It didn't say he went to Tarsus. It said they took him to Tarsus. It's kind of like they're saying, "Okay, listen, buddy. God's got big plans for you. We get it. You're zealous. We love this. We are zealous too. But how about you just go home for a little while, and we'll figure this out, and then we'll go from there." And I can say that comfortably because what happens, he actually goes back to Tarsus, and he spends right around 8 years. We won't see Saul again until I believe it's Acts chapter 13. And we won't see him until Acts chapter 13 because he's back in Tarsus, essentially training for the ministry, essentially, and then also engaging in some ministry, but doing it all from that home base of Tarsus. And then when he comes back into the scene, we'll have a little glimpse where Barnabas actually goes to Tarsus to find him, and because it's time, it's time. It's been 8 years. He's trained. He's ready, and so we go through this period of kind of figuring things out, and getting into the ministry, and he's got to prove to the apostles that he's not trying to trick them and kill them, that he really is born again. And you'll see that process, his kind of contentious relationship with Peter. But what we see, what I want you to just to see out of this is how, like I said at the beginning, man, how don't be afraid to pray for and witness to people who are passionately and zealously anti-Christian. God will give you the words. God will help you in that conversation. And in fact, I think we should be excited about any opportunities that we have to teach Jesus, to explain, to proclaim Jesus to those who don't know him, because amazing what can be done. I mean, I'm reminded of Phil Robertson, the Duck Dynasty patriarch, and how he was living wild. He was running around on his wife. He was in and out of bars all the time. Just things were in shambles. And his sister was a Christian, and she sent her pastor in to talk to him in a bar, and he essentially chased him out. And the pastor came running out with his tail on fire, and he said to Phil Robertson's sister, he said, "He's not ready yet. He's not ready yet." But she said, "We're not going to give up on him because," she said, "listen to this." She said, "If you can convert my brother, he will bring thousands to the Lord." And if you know much about Phil Robertson's life and ministry and the platform that God has blessed him with, that is fact. It has come into fruition. This is like Paul's story. It's like Paul's story. So today I learned this about Jesus, and on this day I will this. Thanks for being here. I will see you tomorrow morning.
Every word sent down from heaven as the power of Christ